This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 830, Teaching in Half the Time, by Julie Morgenstern of juliemorgenstern.com. Hello, everybody. As you've heard, this is Optimal Relationships Daily, and I am your host, Greg Audino. This is the show where I narrate to you from some of the best relationship articles we can find, often published by psychiatrists, therapists, life coaches, and the like. Here we are on Friday with our last post before the weekend, and we'll be going out on a good note with the post that helps parents to teach their children in half the time. Very useful, very good for saving time, yet also doing what we need to do for our children. What do you say we get right into the post and start optimizing your life? Teaching in Half the Time by Julie Morgenstern of juliemorgenstern.com. Over the past few months, parents across the world have had impossible demands on their time and energy. On a good day, the balancing act between attending to your own needs and those of your children is a tall order. Add a global pandemic to the mix, which added homeschooling along with a wealth of other complications to your already overloaded to-do list, and parents quickly joined a long list of unsung heroes in our current society. As you reflect on your experiences with homeschooling, whether you feel like you knocked it out of the park or it knocked you on your butt, consider that formal schooling is but one of many ways that we raise our children to be successful adults. And the good news is, some of the best teaching we do is incorporated into our everyday interactions with our children. No additional time investment required. Understanding and recognizing the ways that all parents teach can both empower you and take some of the pressure off. The three primary modes of teaching are: teaching by role modeling. Role modeling is a way of teaching without taking any additional time away from your own life or your kids' lives. It is through going about our daily lives, caring for ourselves and others, that we demonstrate important traits and skills that we want our children to inherit. Kids absorb and mimic the behaviors they observe. Being a role model requires you to be conscious of your own actions. It may require you to invest some time practicing and internalizing the behaviors you want your kids to emulate. If you want your kids to be more active, are you yourself exercising regularly? Do your kids see that? Can you invite them to join in, or join them in their play? Do you want your kids to spend less time in front of a screen? What non-screen forms of entertainment are built into your daily routine? Making those changes will benefit you and your kids. Teaching by role modeling takes a bit of time and conscious effort on your own part, but not nearly as much time as teaching exponential equations. It allows you to lead by example while taking care of your own needs, exercising, eating healthy, taking time to recharge, and imparts the value of striving for personal growth. Teaching by observation. Teaching through observation occurs via together but apart activities, where you are in the same space as your kids, but you are doing separate activities. For example, you are making dinner while they are working on an independent project or homework at the kitchen table, paying attention to how focused or distracted they are, or if there is a particular subject that frustrates them. The beauty of teaching through observation is it requires virtually no additional time on your part. The key is simply to be nearby, conscious, and aware of what your kids are doing, but not directly involved. Try sitting and reading a book while they are outside playing, listening out for what parts of the game interest them, their reactions, and any commentary they make. Ultimately, you can think of teaching by observation as the lesson planning stage of teaching, done in a fraction of the time it takes a school teacher. The more time you spend observing your children, the easier it is to guide with finesse and feel confident in your instruction. Observation allows you to get to know your child, collect information, and be ready for the right time to bring up a particular issue. Teaching by direct interaction. Moments of concrete guidance are the most direct form of teaching. Sometimes kids seek out our instruction, "Can you show me how to ... And sometimes there are things we are excited to show them how to do. How to ride a bike, pour cereal, cross the street safely. And of course, there are also moments when we need to discipline or correct our children for their own well-being. Direct interactions require dedicated time. Depending on your child and the situation at hand, it may take a few seconds or a few minutes. And teaching directly can take all forms: levity, a quick aside, confiding heart to heart, a serious moment, etc. It takes regular practice to get it right. But remember, It's just one of the many ways we teach our kids important life lessons. Done well, teaching in all its forms cultivates close and loving connections with your children and builds a good, trusting rapport. Of course, formal education is important, and hopefully at some point they will go back to the professional teachers, who we appreciate now more than ever. But in the meantime, as you grapple with the possibility of continuing homeschooling in the fall, I encourage you to embrace the power you have to teach your kids important life skills, simply by being you, without setting any extra time aside. You just listened to the post titled, Teaching in Half the Time, by Julie Morgenstern of juliemorgenstern.com. Whether direct or indirect, establishing good communication with your children or anyone else you're close with is essential for that relationship to grow. Likewise, establishing a healthy communication with yourself is essential for your mental health. And when you feel like you've hit a roadblock, know that BetterHelp is here for you. BetterHelp will get your needs assessed and match you with a personal licensed professional therapist. They provide a safe and private online environment for you to communicate with your therapist within 24 hours, plus giving you the flexibility of scheduling weekly video or phone sessions. Not to mention, their financial aid makes it more affordable than traditional offline counseling. So many people have actually been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. BetterHelp is not self-help, it is professional counseling where everything is confidential. Guys, I want you to start living a happier life today. And as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/ORD. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ORD. And thank you so much to Julie for letting us share that today. I really agree with all of her ideology on these simple steps we can take to teach our children the intangibles of life. And the reason many parents struggle to do it is because of restricted views of education, I think. As parents, it's really easy to look at ourselves as caretakers, providers, and so on, protectors. But we often forget that we educate as parents too. I think the most important lesson behind Julie's post is that education for a child is very little about what happens in school, and more so about the types of people we raise them to be, something they'd be hard-pressed to learn about in a book. So if you find yourself stressed out by having the kids home from school, pressured to become educated in the subjects they're learning about in school, remember that the education you can and are best qualified to provide them with is intrinsic and vitally important. School teachers are not a buffer, nor can they do the whole job themselves. Take responsibility and pride in knowing that the lessons you can teach them from home are vitally important for their growth and their relationship with you. Now, everyone, I hope you all have a great weekend. We are done for today, so enjoy yourselves. Put today's post to use if you find an opportunity to do so, and be sure to come back on Monday, where I will be back with you for another week of relationship building and where your optimal life awaits.